Thank you for joining me today on the Who God Says podcast. I am your host and Kingdom Ambassador, Ty-Shaun-Dra. Hi. Welcome. Today we have a guest who's kind of like a little neighbor. We call him Jamal the Maven. He's an entrepreneur and host of the Maven Minutes podcast. Mr. Jamaul Ford, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Ty. I'm super glad to be here, and I'm super glad to share with your audience and learn from you, listen to you, and go back and forth and talk about things. So, yeah, super excited to be here.
Awesome. Now, how did you get the name the Maven?
Yeah, my whole life, I've really been a person that's really been eager to teach people and help people learn things. And so a Maven is a teacher. And there was a time where I kind of was reluctant to put myself out there as a person that was comfortable being in front of people. And so sometimes having a different persona allows you to get in the character and give you the ability to push yourself out there. Kobe Bryant with Black Mamba, Beyonce, Sasha Fierce, these particular things. And there's a great book called Alter Ego that Beyonce and Kobe studied under the guy who actually wrote that book. And he talks about the benefits of having an alter ego. So for me, it was a really big thing to allow me the ability to feel comfortable putting myself out there and really going out and helping people. So that's kind of how I got the name, more or less.
Okay. Nice. I guess I would have had an alter ego. I guess Ty would have been my alter ego because I've been using that for years and I just started actually being proud about my real full first name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it definitely presents itself in different ways. So, I mean, that probably would definitely be true. So,
yeah. Okay. So I want to ask you, where did you grow up and what's your spiritual background?
So I grew up in Morgan City or Berwick, Louisiana, which is in the middle of nowhere, Highway 90. If you know, you know. But I grew up in Berwick, Louisiana. My dad is a pastor. I grew up in church my whole life. Even before my dad was a pastor, he was a deacon. We went around picking up people in the church van to go to church. I'm getting out the van, helping the older people with their wheelchairs get in the van. Just really serving people and trying to help people, going to the old folks' homes, helping everybody at the old folks' home, getting the van to get to church.
Wow.
So that's really my background where I grew up and really just the foundation of where I am today.
Okay. So little Maven was running around helping the elders get into the church van. Now, did you have to be a member of the church to ride the church van?
No, never. No, anybody get get in the church van. It's definitely for the whole neighborhood. I mean, all my friends really didn't get into. They wasn't members at the church, but my dad coached my basketball teams, and so he would always pick them up for like basketball practice and stuff like that. And in order for them to go to basketball, because my dad would pay for all the kids in the neighborhood to be able to play bitty basketball. But one caveat for him was, okay, I'm gonna pay for y'all to play these sports, but y'all gonna come to church on these Sundays as well. So you know what I mean. So so you didn't have to be a member to get on that van.
All right, Dad. Come on, Papa. Okay. So when did you decide to move to New Orleans?
So I got my master's degree at University of Houston. Prior to that, I went to Nichols and got my bachelor's degree. I transitioned from Nichols to Houston. And when I transitioned to Houston and get my master's degree, I really was big on getting a job in my career. At the time, I had gotten my master's degree in kinesiology and human performance. So I was really looking for a job in my field. And it really wasn't really panning out for me. in Houston from that perspective. And to be honest with you, ironically, I was kind of lost. And I'll never forget, I know what's crazy, what I'm about to tell you is, I know this is not even the direction of the podcast, but I really said I need something to change. And I started fasting and praying. I literally started fasting and really like trying my best to figure it out. And even though I wasn't where I needed to be at, I had so much peace about the process during my fasting and praying time, to where I think the same day I got like 3 job offers in New Orleans at the same time. So ultimately I had just my pick of where I wanted to work. Ultimately, I wound up working in corporate wellness at East Jefferson Hospital. And I did that from 2012 to I think 2016, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So the Lord said, I'm directing you to New Orleans.
I guess that's what he said. That's what he said. I just gotta listen. I was really like just open to whatever and tried to get out of my own way, tried to remove ego out of the process, which is super hard. It's very difficult to, and to understand that, what I want for myself may not be what he wants me to do, right? So I think that's a big step in the process, period, no matter where you are.
That's amazing. It's hard for a lot of people to put aside their ego for anything, let alone prayer. And then I think it's especially hard for men. I think it's harder for men to push their ego aside.
Yeah, I would say I would agree with you to a certain degree. And I'm gonna tell you, and this is not disagreement. This is more of like understanding. There's a book that I recently started reading. I read a lot of books. There's this book called The Way of the Superior Man. And it's a great book from the standpoint of understanding how the male psyche works and how the female psyche works, and understanding what's the masculine and what's the feminine. The great thing about the book is it doesn't necessarily exclusively put the feminine to just women or the masculine just to men, right? It's just understanding of what it is and kind of where you're operating at. I think that men, we're very steadfast in what we're doing, and we're very like routine. And I think that's why it's so much easier for women to learn men than what it is for men to learn women, because we're very like, we're going to do the same thing all the time. Whether it's like we're going to wake up and play video games all the time, or we going to wake up and go to work at the same time. Like we're very consistent, right? And because that's what we look for. We look for just routine, and I think that plays a major part with that, just that ideology of like consistency and just trying to be steadfast in what we're doing. So I would agree with you from that standpoint.
Okay. I don't want to put the brothers down. I'm just saying.
No, I don't think you are. I don't think you are putting us down. So yeah.
Yeah. But I do think that coming to that realization that I have to put myself aside, I have to take myself out of the equation and just listen. That's a big step for anybody. It's huge to understand that you can't control everything. And if you're going to be guided, then be guided. Because you can't be guided and be guiding at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
hi everyone. Join the Kingdom Fanatics community. Get exclusive content, green room access with our guests, and more. Visit our website at whogodsays.com. Like and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate your love and support. To find all information on joining our community, being a guest on the show, donating on our PayPal donation page, and more, visit us at whogodsays.com. Now back to the show.
That's in the same area. Let me say this. I would say everyone, in order to lead, you have to know where you're leading people to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even if I'm a shepherd and I have sheep,
right,
I still have to have a map to know I'm being guided by the map, even though I'm guiding the sheep, right? So I wouldn't want anybody, like for me, I do consulting. I have online communities where I help a lot of people with their businesses and things. At the same time, I also have people, mentors, and people who help me in understanding how to scale my business and how to become better at communication, how to become better at sales, how to become better at different things. I take that information and I funnel it down to the people who follow me, right? So I think that I'm being led while I'm also leading others, right? Now,
yeah,
the
but those are not
interesting,
happening at the same time, right? So you
yes,
have
it does.
time
Well, it
set
does happen,
aside.
not simultaneously at the
Right.
same
And that was
time.
that's all I was saying.
Okay,
That's what I
okay,
was
yeah,
saying. You
yeah,
have to
okay.
take that moment, set aside that moment to say, let me be guided. And then, yes, you can guide others, but you have to take that moment that you have to set aside just to be guided. Just
No, we're on
that
the same
moment.
page with that. I agree with you on that. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, but I agree with you as well. You do have, even though we're in different, when you're in different industries and different businesses and things like that, there's always still a coach for the coach. There's
Yeah,
always still a doctor for the doctor. There's always an accountant for the accountant.
right.
So we're on the same page there.
Yeah,
Like
we're on the
I know
same page.
some people
I
like, oh no, I'm an accountant. Yeah, but there's an accountant for the accountant. No,
man,
I'm a heart doctor, but there's a heart doctor for the heart doctor. You know?
yeah. I mean, the greatest people, I would say, even you watch some of the greatest people in the world, such as like The Rock, and he's in phenomenal shape. But The Rock has a personal trainer. Like, he's like, you know, saying he has people that helps him get in phenomenal shape. Yeah, he can be selling you products to make you get in great shape, but he still has somebody helping him be in great shape too. So, you know, yeah, I definitely agree.
Yep. And even as a leader of the free world, he had speech coaches. So hey, I mean,
yeah.
So yeah. I do want to ask, how many businesses have you started throughout your career, and why did you decide to become an entrepreneur?
Oh, that's a great question. Let me answer them in reverse. So let
Go ahead.
me answer, why did I decide to become an entrepreneur first, and then I can answer the second question. So really, my mom, I'm a second generation entrepreneur. So my mother is my entrepreneur, and my mom has 2 daycares, and I grew up watching her in entrepreneurship, and she's in her lifetime. I've seen her own clothing stores. I've seen her go in a partnership with my uncle and do sugarcane hauling when it was more of a local type thing before commercial companies came and kind of took over that particular market. She owns about 11 rental properties and different things. And I've seen the fluidity of how she was able to move from the standpoint of, my dad worked the job from like a 12-hour shift type job. And my mom was always there. Like when it came time for, if I had an event going on or I had something to do, and I seen that she had more control over her schedule and what she could do. Right. And then, not to say my dad wasn't there. I mean, my dad was there as much as he could be, but I mean, when he would get off from work, he would have to like go to sleep for a couple hours just to kind of recuperate, whereas my mom was able to maneuver her time. So I think that kind of drew me to entrepreneurship. And then working for other people, I identified that there was gaps in the market from the standpoint of like servicing people. And what I mean is, larger corporations or larger businesses can help with general problems, but very specific problems that people have, it's very hard for them to single in on those particular things. Like an example would be, let's say, this is a very old, let's take Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers helps people lose weight, right? But let's say Weight Watchers, and they're just generally helping, and they're a woman based, like a lot of women do Weight Watchers, right?
Right.
And that's fantastic. But from the standpoint of being an African American single mother who's working a job from, who's making a certain amount of money, Weight Watchers can't talk specifically to her, right? And she might need somebody that talks specifically to her in her situation to help her overcome. Whereas Weight Watchers is more general, they don't have the flexibility to be specific in certain moments. And and just in different areas, there's a lot of huge gaps. And that's why when it comes to business, it's very important to always understand who your target audience is and have an understanding of what the demand is before you try to create a supply. And I'm really big on that when it comes to identifying who you can help. So really, my entrepreneurship journey just started from wanting to help people. Like, just, I grew up helping people, and I wanted to help people achieve their dreams. I grew up in entrepreneurship watching my mom. So a lot of things that people have to go to courses and go to these different things to do, I grew up learning this stuff. This was my normal arena, right? So I think ultimately wanting to help people, watching my mom, and just understanding when I was working for other people, I wasn't able to help everybody I wanted to help, is really what pushed me into entrepreneurship. When it comes to how many businesses I've started, it's been a good bit of them. Some of them, I would say they've all been successful in different ways. Some of them have been great learning experiences. Others have been successful financially. Others have been successful from the amount of people I've helped. And I think that when you look at each one and you look at what the goal was, I feel like I've achieved the goal in each one that I've done. And lastly, to be honest with you, and if you want to get into it, I'm very big on, and I've recently started telling people this because I think that is significant. Many people think about business from the standpoint of, I need to have this business and this business is going to finance my whole life. I currently have 9 streams of income. And what I generally do is, it helps me budget. It helps me like just look at everything. I have a stream of income for every facet of my life. So, so how I look at it from a standpoint, like I'll give you an example. You gonna know what I'm talking about. Maybe the podcast listeners won't, but I remember I had a F-150 and it was a 2012, and in 2019, there was a real push for me just to get another vehicle. And I was like, I don't need another vehicle. My truck runs, whatever. And it's like, no, you need another vehicle. And I was like, okay. But the first thing I did was I bought 2 mobile homes in Ponchatoula and I fixed them up. So each mobile home was like $2,000. It took me like $10,000 to fix each one. And I rented them out for like $950 a piece. And that was like, $1,900. Lot rent was $400. So it left me with like maybe $1,500, something like that a month. And ultimately, that was my budget for me to get a new vehicle, right? And so, I knew my range, my price point, and that covered gas, that covered the vehicle cost, that covered insurance. And so what wound up happening was I leased a truck, and that was during the pandemic. And then after the pandemic, I turned in the lease vehicle. Interest rates went up. The lot rent went up. And so the lot rent went up a little bit. So it was like $1,200. But I knew that was my budget, right? And so how I see business is, you don't need these grand, big businesses. Sometimes you can have these smaller things that can finance different things. And I'm not just dependent on this one business to like take care of everything that I have going on, right? So, I've had like my funnel factory community is doing great. I recently started it. It brings in a good bit of money, but I never started it just to have it fund my whole life. I just started it just to, have residual income. And, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I have like 7 rental properties right now. And then I have like my consulting where I consult other people. Obviously I'm a musician, so I make money that way. I have a ton of things that I generally always have going on. So, yeah. So that's how I wanted to say that, just because I think that people should reframe how they look at business. Like, they shouldn't just look at it like, I have this one thing. And I think it helps you be realistic with yourself. Like, if I'm selling t-shirts, I'm not going to sell a million. It's very rare that you're going to sell $5 million worth of t-shirts every single year, right? And so, but if you look at your t-shirt business from the standpoint of, okay, my typical grocery bills are $400 a month. Maybe I can make this a side thing that I do. It makes $400. It covers my grocery, and now the money that I make doing something else, I don't have to worry about that, to fund that.
That
So
is
yeah,
a great way of looking at it.
Starting and growing a business while dealing with your finances can be overwhelming and stressful. Emerald Services provides packages tailored to your business needs to help you mitigate taxes, stay compliant, plan for your future, and save money so you can focus on being the creative, influential visionary that delivers your dreams to the world. Because what you focus on is what will multiply. Schedule your discovery call today to find out ways Emerald Services can benefit your life plan and your business plan. Visit emeraldserve.com or call 504-603-6059.
I think that is one of the American dream things that people sell. Be an entrepreneur, you can schedule your own, you have control of your own schedule. You can make an unlimited amount of money. You can, like you said, pay for your whole lifestyle, I think that's a great way of looking at it. I have always been called the Jamaican of the family. This is no jab at Jamaicans, but
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
And so I used to struggle with, why am I not focused on one thing? Like, I will be focused, and then it will be something else that I want the opportunity to bring on to my portfolio. So I have two active businesses, and I call them active businesses, and I've opened 4. And there are other things that I want to get into. And so I used to say, why is it that I'm not taking my tax and bookkeeping practice and just focusing on that alone and building that, and then that becomes my bread and butter, and I don't have to do all of these other things? Well, for me, the tax practice is good. I like it. But I have other things that I want to do. So am I supposed to just limit those things because I've got to focus on this and this should be my bread and butter? I don't see it that way. And I'm glad that you said you should not look at business as being, this is going to fund my whole life, this one business. If that was the case, I've never opened a restaurant. I would never open a CBD store. I would have never even thought about getting into real estate investing. I mean, I'm not in it yet, but I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'm a researcher girl. I got to research stuff. And then, but if I would have had that mindset of this business is going to fund my whole life, then I would not have even had the courage to try to open other businesses or get into other industries. And I know I would have never started a podcast because I would have never wanted, this is not something I wanted to do. So I'm glad you said that, because it gives people a different perspective when they look at business. Your business does not have to be your end all be all. And I'm glad you gave that truck analogy, because it can be as simple, and then the groceries, it can be as simple as taking a household bill off of your plate.
Yeah.
It does not have to be, okay, I style clothes. I don't have to be Megan Thee Stallion stylist. I can style clothes for the local artists that are in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And that could pay for a semester of college. So
yes.
I am so grateful that you actually broke it down like that, so people can see that it's not just, it takes a little bit of the overwhelm away from it too. It's like, it's so much pressure to be in business. It's because everything is on you, but then when you break it down to where, okay, so I have a tax practice and I mostly deal with clients during tax season. So during tax season, I make so much money and that can go towards what?
Right.
I like that. I like that
I
you
want to
brought
say
that.
two things about what you said. And if anybody's interested, I definitely have, like, in my Funnel Factory community, I'm going to try to keep this very short
Go ahead.
because I can go on and on about what I'm about to say. But this is very important based off of just this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
The key to that is separating your time from your money. If you understand that time has the most value, outside money is just a tool. Money is an exchange, right? So even the example of in 2019, you go to the Dollar Tree, you can get a fork for $1, right? Whereas now you go to the Dollar Tree, that same fork is $1.25. Well, what's more valuable, the fork or the dollar? The fork is more valuable because right? So understanding that money is just a tool is super important and is a tool that always loses value.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to exchange your time for something that constantly is losing value, right? So with that being said, there's four skills that I believe everyone should learn in life. 4: finance, understanding money; profit loss sheets, understanding just how money works. The second thing is leadership. Just because you know how to flip burgers doesn't mean you know how to teach other people to flip burgers, right? Sales, because you have to understand the psychological aspect of people and understanding what's going to make them want to buy from you. And marketing is taking what you've done in sales in that message and understanding how to scale that at mass. If you learn those 4 skills in life, no matter what arena you're in or no matter what you're doing, you're going to have success. The next thing to understand is there's only 5 things you can sell in life, right? Access, convenience, security, validation, and opportunity. Those are the only 5 things you can sell in life. What does Uber sell? Convenience. What does Airbnb sell? Convenience. What does Apple Music sell? Access. What does the government sell? They sell you security. Hey, these people are going to attack us. We can keep you safe. Oh, we're going to make America great again with security. That was a message of security. Hey, we want to bring you back to when you felt safe, right?
Okay.
Validation. Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Coach, whatever brand, right? And there's psychological aspects to selling validation to people. Oh, you look beautiful. Oh, I feel validated, right? The American flag is validation. Metairie has a flag. That's validation. Like, oh, I got the Metairie flag in front of that's selling validation, right? And lastly is opportunity. Hey, I can help you do this. If you work with me, you can do this, or you'll have the opportunity to, timeshares. That's opportunity. So you got to understand those are the only 5 things you can sell, right? Now you just put that behind whatever product you have. And now you understand, okay, this is my product. What am I selling people with this product, right? So, and then once you understand it, then you know the messaging. And that what helps you actually start with marketing and sales. Last thing I'll say about it, well, yeah, this is the last, and this is really big picture, right? So this brings it all together. There's only 4 ways to get customers. Only 4. Warm leads, social media content or content as a whole, ads, and cold outreach. People are so afraid of cold outreach that they always see it as being the first thing, and it should never be the first thing. The first thing should always be warm leads. And so in sequence, how it goes is your 10% of people are going to support everything you do. 10% of people are not going to support anything you do. The most important thing is to get the other 80% of the people that you know, or the other 80% of the people to come towards supporting you. That's the psychological aspect that people forget. Like when you're starting, like an example, when you started your CBD business and you were telling people, they had people, yeah, girl, you do your thing, whatever. Then you had other people, you could feel that energy. That was not the energy you supposed to have. You supposed, And that's the energy that stops people, like, because they feel like, but you got to already anticipate that energy is going to come, right? Yep. So how do you use that? You generally make an announcement online. You say, hey, look, I'm starting this business. If you know anyone who's dealing with these issues, what are the issues that CBD help with? Maybe
inflammation,
pain. So you start listing off all these things, right? And you just make that post online. You don't ask people to buy from you. You tell them, hey, I'm starting this business. If you know anyone who's dealing with these problems, let them know that I can help them. What does that do? If that person's reading that post and they're having those problems, they're gonna be like, hey, that's me. You know what I'm saying? I'm having those problems. And then if they're out and about and they hear someone list off or say one of those problems, you're the first person that comes to mind. That's why when you make that initial post, you don't ask them to buy from you, because whenever they see that post, they say, oh, I don't have that problem, and their mind immediately shuts down. And so when they meet people out and about, they're not going to push you because you didn't give them those key things, right? The next thing is content. So once you start making content, those same 10 people that support everything you do, you ask them to share your content. So if I have 5,000 followers and I make a post, and most content should be frequently asked questions. Like it's not rocket science. Like just use FAQs to make content. Like you go online, what's 1,000 FAQs about CBD? Okay, I'm gonna make content answering these questions, right? Now you're answering the questions that the public wants, right? And then you ask those 10% of people that support everything you do to share that post. Now you have 5,000 followers. If you're the only person that posts that, 5,000 people might see it, right? But what if those other 10 people you asked to share it each got 3,000 followers, right? Now 35,000 people have seen it, right? Just from those 10 additional people sharing it, okay? Once people start sharing your content and you have a content schedule, if you're building a business and you're not where you need to be at, you should be making 4 hours of outreach every day. In order to be found, you have to be findable. Period. Like, it sounds easy, but you have to be findable. Like, you want people to know who you are, you gotta be out there, and content is the way of doing it. So, like an example, we're doing this podcast. This is what's called the mothership piece of content. You take this, you chop it up into pieces, you make it into Instagram posts, you take parts of it, you start writing blogs about it, you take short excerpts of it, you tweet about it, you put it on threads, you know what I mean? So now this mothership piece of content can actually become 40 to 50 pieces of content just from us having this conversation, right? Yeah. So people are sharing it, you're making the content, you're putting it out there. What's going to happen? People are going to start asking you questions. That's the great thing. Once they're asking you questions, now you got their attention, right? And now you start answering their questions. But those questions are telling you what people really want. And that's the key. Now that I'm getting feedback from people, I know what to offer them and I know what to sell them. So now that I understand what to sell people, now if I want to start running ads, I already know what my messaging should be. My messaging should be off of the questions that people, well, what if you're dealing with sore feet? What if you're dealing with gout in your feet? And I answered that question in a post, right? Now when I make that Facebook ad, are you dealing with gout with your feet? Because I know that's the problem that people are having. They're telling me that, right? So the ad is feeding back into them. And so now I know my ads are going to have more success. And then lastly is cold outreach. So when you start to do cold outreach, calling random people that don't know who you are, you should already know they're not going to buy from you. You wouldn't buy from somebody the first time they call, right?
I don't answer the phone.
You don't answer the phone. So why do you think people are going to buy from you? But people always assume that's the first thing they should do. It's not. When you do cold outreach, the goal is for people to look you up. Once you get off the phone with them, once they read your email, once they've engaged with you, your goal is for them to look you up online. In order to be found, you have to be findable. Okay. If you do everything that I told you ahead of time, when they look you up online, what are they going to see? They're going to see the ads that you're running. They're going to see all your social media content, and they're going to see all the support that you have from people sharing your post. That builds rapport and validation. People are
Okay.
going to binge your content and they're going to say, I really like Ty. I'm going to buy from her. It has nothing to do with the product whatsoever. It has to do with the fact that they like you. If you think about your psychology or how you buy things online, you might say, oh, you might look at a tracksuit, right, online. And the way you're going to validate buying that tracksuit in your mind has nothing to do with the person that's selling it. It has nothing to do with the tracksuit. It has to do with probably socio-economical things like, oh, they put up enough posts. You're like, oh, this is a black company. I want to support black businesses. Let me buy it, right? Like, because you've seen so much content and you've engaged and you've attached yourself. You're like, I want to support them because of this, like this higher thing. That's why telling your story behind your product is super important, because people want to support your story. People love hero stories. Rocky, every Disney story is a hero story, right? The Little Mermaid. Oh, she want to walk on land. I want, girl, walk on land. Do your thing. You know what I mean? And
well,
so,
Princess and the Frog is my favorite because it's in my hometown.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, understanding the hero's journey, the hero's story, understanding that that's what people support. If you understand those principles that I said, understanding what you're selling, understanding the those four major skills that I said, and understanding how to find customers, any business you start, you're going to have success. Like, it's impossible not to have success. You just got to do the volume of work, and the volume of work is creating content and doing the outreach. And you should just set a time aside. Like, okay, in this business, I know in order to get it off the ground, I got to make 4 hours of content a day. And the magic of that is typical people work 9 to 5. Guess what that means? 5 to 9 is that magical time of doing that extra work. 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. or 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's when I'm putting energy towards making people find me, letting people know what I'm doing. If you're not putting out at least 2 Instagram posts, 1 TikTok post, 5 tweets, and maybe 1 or 2 YouTube videos a day about your product, then you're not really doing the work to get people to find you and to want to support you. People have to binge your content. If you allow me to say one other thing, and then I'll let you go. The other thing I say is there's this thing called Dunbar's numbers. Dunbar's number says there's 150 people within your inner circle at all times, right? So when someone comes into your inner circle, someone leaves out of your inner circle. You have no clue who that person is that leaves out, but you definitely know who that person that enters the inner circle. What is the metrics that gets you in someone's inner circle? 7 hours of communication, 11 interactions, in 4 different locations. You got to hit those things in order for you to become a part of the 150. So what does that look like? Let's say, Ty, there's a post online say Beyonce dog died. Man, people gonna be crying online. They're gonna be, oh my God, Beyonce dog died. What happened? Whatever. Like they know Beyonce. Like they know Beyonce.
Did you
dog.
see my face? I'm like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, but Beyonce is in their 150. How is she in the 150? They've consumed 7 hours of her content. They've interacted with it 11 different times, like rated, you know what I'm saying? And they've done it in 4 different locations. Talking to your homegirl, yeah, you going to that concert, girl? Yeah, you. So now she's hit that threshold. Why? Watch this. Why do most major business deals get done on a golf course? To play golf, there's 18 different locations. There's going to be more than 11 interactions, and there's at least going to be 5 hours of communication.
Okay.
They're not going to make the deal based off of what it is. They're trying to figure out if they like the person or not. It's all about, do I like this person enough to buy from them? Period. Like that's all it is. Even with TikTok, if you're buying something from TikTok shop, you're going to see the same post. Like you'll see the same post all the time. The one you're going to buy is the person that entertained you the most. Like that's who you're going to buy for. You done seen this product 4-5 times.
That is
but
true.
The one person that had you laughing or rolling on it, that triggered an emotion from you, now you're emotionally buying. It has nothing to do with the product. You done seen the product 20 times. This person triggered a response from you. You emotionally got caught up and you pressed that buy now button on this person's post, and now they getting paid. That's the psychology of sales. Like, you have to understand the psychology of sales in order to understand how to have success in business. That's why it's really not hard. Going back to my original thing is ego. You got to get past your ego, understand what you want doesn't mean what other people want, and then understanding, what do people want? What do people want to see from me? What do I need to tell them? That it don't matter what I want to tell them. What do they want to hear from me? Now, once I tell them what they want to hear, now they are more likely to buy the product from me. I'm building rapport with them. And obviously I could go on and on about it, but I'll just leave it there. So, yeah.
But I mean, you said a lot, and in everything that you said, I'm taking it in, I'm writing notes, because guess what? Marketing is my downfall. Marketing is that thing that I don't know if I'm scared or intimidated or just don't want to be bothered by it, but it's like, it's just so much. One of the things is social media, because I'm not a big social media girl. It's like, I don't get the point. Why you got to spend half your life on the phone scrolling up and down? So that keeps me apprehensive of, let me get my stuff out in all on social media. So I want you to talk to, I guess, the ones that are like me. I guess, how do you feel about traditional marketing, and how does that kind of weigh out with social media marketing?
Yeah, so traditional marketing, and I hate being like what you call like, so what I guess what you would call like theology based, whatever, but technology in the 1950s, technology was roads.
Oh my God!
Oh my God, this technology, right? Today we don't even consider that to be technology, right? So when you say traditional marketing, social media is going to become traditional marketing. It is traditional marketing.
Okay, well, let's break it down. Okay, so what about
no. So I'm going to answer your question.
Let's break it down first, because you was like, social media is going to be traditional. Okay, well, let's say what we know now to be traditional marketing. It's like guerrilla marketing, handing out flyers, B2B marketing, like face-to-face networking, that type of marketing. How does that play out versus social media marketing?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I think that the most important thing to understand is people are not going to buy from you initially. Like, you just have to already accept that. And it either takes time or it takes volume. And you got to respect both, because you're going to put out volume over time, or you're just going to put out a ton of volume at one time. The reason social is so important, the reason online is so important, is because you have to understand the psychology of people. If I'm handing out a flyer, if I come outside of my church service and somebody got a flyer on my windshield telling me about their plate lunches that they selling down the street, the first thing I want to know is, who else about to buy these plate lunches? Who is this selling these plate lunches? What is this about these plate lunches? Where am I going to go to find out more about these people? I'm gonna go on social media. Like, that's where I'm gonna go. Wow. Like, it's always where is people are gonna wind up to get more information. The key to social media is understanding the price point of what you're selling and figuring out where you should make your content. This is what I mean. I'm gonna ask you some questions. Have you bought something based off of what you've seen on Instagram before?
No.
Have you bought something based on what you've seen online before?
I have.
Okay, what platform?
On TikTok. I've only bought anything from TikTok. Yeah.
Would you buy anything on TikTok that was over $300?
No.
That lets you know you can't sell something over $300 on TikTok. to be honest, you can't sell anything over $75 on TikTok because that's not the platform.
Well, it'll probably be 30 for me. I'm not
exactly. No, you're probably right. You're absolutely right. It's probably 30. Instagram is probably $100. $100, and this is like more like shoes, like aesthetic things. But if it's over $200, guess where you're gonna go to buy it? You're gonna go on YouTube, because anytime you spend over a certain amount of money, that's not what we call disposable money. Mm-hmm. Number one place people research these things is YouTube. Like if you're trying to figure out, do I want to buy this bag? Do I want this car? Do I want this? Bigger purchases, even when people are learning about real estate, like you're trying to buy a home, even it doesn't have to pertain to that specific home. You're going to learn the process of buying a home from YouTube. So you got to understand each platform has its own personality. It has its own characteristics. Once you respect those characteristics, you understand what you're selling, you know what platform you need to sell on. What does that mean? Let's say, Ty, for instance, you're selling a product that's $300, $400, right?
Okay.
The majority of my content would be on YouTube because I need to educate people about it. I need to let people know that I'm an authority figure when it comes to this product. I need to answer all of their inquiries about it. I need to remove any doubt that they have about buying this product, right? When I chop that content down and I put that content on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, or whatever platform, I'm not sending those people to buy the product. I'm sending those people to YouTube. So if I make an Instagram post, hey, learn more on YouTube, because I should already understand that if I'm selling something for $300, they're not going to buy it off this one post that I made on Instagram. They're going to want to know more about it. So my Instagram post should not push them to buy the product. It should push them to learn more about the product, right? So that's the key. And understanding what platform resonates with you the most and your product the most. Like LinkedIn is more B2B. Twitter, X, is more sharing thoughts, sharing opinions. Like it's more, Twitter is town hall. Like when I say town hall, understand what town hall is. When you watch videos of people on top and you're laughing at them, it's people, the people up there from town hall, random people going up there blurting out random stuff, you laughing at them, and town hall got to listen to them. That is what Twitter is. It's just town hall. People blurt out random stuff. They say what's on their mind. And, if people engage with it, then you can go on and on about it. YouTube is where you really go to learn more about it. Watch this. Your restaurant. Where's if you I don't know if you still have your restaurant. Where's the number one place you should market? If you had let's say you was making pecan candy. Let's say you make pecan candy, right? Okay, cool. We making pecan candy. Where's the number one platform you should post your pecan candy?
Instagram.
Nope.
What is it?
Think about it.
I said Instagram.
It's TikTok.
Oh, okay.
Because when people
I don't usually be on TikTok, but I get it.
TikTok is the key. Let me tell you something about TikTok.
Okay.
TikTok has become the number one search engine. Google used to be the number one search engine. TikTok is now. You know why TikTok is the number one search engine?
No.
Because of food. Because let me tell you why. Let's say give me a city you want to go to. Just any city. Name any city.
That I just want to go to.
Yeah, just name it.
Let's do Vegas. Never been to Vegas.
Okay, cool. You want to go to Vegas. What's the number one thing people, anytime we go anywhere in the world, what's the biggest thing we want to know? Where to eat? Where the food, right? Especially if you're from New Orleans. I need to know where to get the food from. Now, in the past, what people used to do is they would go on Google, places to eat near me. And we would make that judgment based off stars, based on reviews, based on what we see on Google, right?
Right.
Today, I'm not eating nowhere Keith Lee don't tell me to eat at in Vegas, right? So where's Keith Lee posting at the fastest? TikTok. He's reposting to Instagram, right? So people TikTok food, Houston, near me, food, Vegas, and all those food places in that area. Hey, here's the top 5 places to eat in Vegas. Girl, I love this. This was brunch. This mimosa time. Yeah, they got the, it's so Instagram pretty. Yeah, you got a lot of pictures. You can TikTok. TikTok is the number one place to market your restaurant because it's the psychology of people. How do people find the stuff? They go on TikTok. So you got to understand what you're selling. You got to understand the personality of the platform. No one's going to go on YouTube to find places to eat. They're not going to do that. They're going to go TikTok first, Google, and then Instagram. And if you're not a TikToker, generally you're going to ask somebody else where to eat, and guess where they're going to go? They're going to go on TikTok and find it, period. Like, that's just the way it goes, right? So that's how people look for things. That's how people search for things. That's how products are sold. So if I have a restaurant, I need to put out content at scale about my food on TikTok. I need to find, if someone's visiting the city and they're on TikTok, I need to give them free food to come and visit my restaurant and have them make a content post about my food. Yeah, I got these cool cups, girl, with the fruit cocktail in them. Yeah, you want some? You know, you want some? You know, whatever. It don't matter what. That's the crazy thing about TikTok. It don't matter what it looked like. If somebody on TikTok told you it was good and you gonna eat that, it could look like a hole in the wall. Oh yeah, they say it was good. Oh yeah, I'm going straight over there. You hear gunshots in the back. You know, whatever. Don't matter. You going. So ultimately, understanding the platform, understanding the characteristics and the character of the platform, understanding your character, understanding what you like and how you can make that platform resonate with you is how you figure out what to post, how to post, what you're, you know, and it just has to feel natural. Last thing I'll say about it is you should not make content. You should be content. You have to be content. Your life, once you accept your life is content, then ultimately it will resonate with you. If you don't feel like your life is content, one key thing I've heard someone say is, if you don't have life experiences, go out and do something and then come back and tell people about it. Like, you know, like that's period. Like, so like you need to go, you need to be out there doing things to get that experience and tell people about it. So I think that that's the important thing. Like, example, let's go back to the pecan candy. You're making pecan, whatever. So I don't have any reviews. I have no one to review my candy. Nobody know what my candy tastes like, right? Let me tell the story of my candy. So I'm out here making grocery to, yeah, y'all, you know, you doing a voiceover. Yeah, girl. So I'm over here at Rouse's buying. So I usually use this in my candy. I get the condensed milk. I get this, and this. And then, so yeah, so this is me making my first batch of candy. Now they following you. They watching all your videos. Oh, okay. Girl, I don't like how she make the candy. Oh, they look pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, she ain't making that right. They commenting underneath. Girl, her candy don't look good. I'm not going to eat that. It don't matter because they're going to be people underneath that go back and comment. You got your 10 people that follow everything you do. Yeah, girl, they talking bad about my candy underneath. Girl, come comment underneath here and tell them my candy good. Don't talk about my friend candy like that. Now they got whole conversations underneath your post. Guess what? The algorithm saying, oh, this post getting action. We need to send this post to other people. Now, a post you thought only was going to get 200 views, then got 15,000 views because people arguing about how you made the candy in the post. Right. And you got your 10 people to come underneath and support you while people bashing you. Like, that's the thing. Like, once your life becomes content, once you look at how you do, man, no lie. You're going to laugh at this. Have you ever watched and I'm sorry if I'm going on and on, but look, have you ever watched those posts of the red balloon where people pop the balloons on the dating? There's like this dating thing.
Oh, yeah, I did. I've seen it.
It's like, man, this is crazy. So look, in my community, my community online has like in the past 3 months maybe it went from 0 to like 270 people in my community, right? And so, and I'm helping people make money, and they're having success and things like that. But then I also had a lot of people who weren't diligent in doing the work that was joining my community, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to close the community to people requesting to be part of the community, which takes time for me. So like if I go in there right now, I probably got like 20 requests to join the community. I got to go through, I got to read the post. I got to figure out, am I going to let this person in or not, right? Yeah. This takes like 30 minutes for me to do. My mind goes, this takes too long. How can I make this content? Oh, let me face record myself, put it in the background, do a green screen in the back with me in the front, reading off the things. And if I'm not going to let nobody in, let me get a red balloon and pop the red balloon. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, they not, but it's like, you gotta flip things. Like you take, like, you know, like I find it funny. I find it controversial. How can I make this a part of like content? This was not content. My life is content. How can I convert my life to content? So that way I'm not trying to figure out what to post, right? Okay. So yeah, so I think that's really the key. And I hope that helped you, like just looking at how you live your life, looking at it and trying to say, how can I make my life content? What do I typically do? And then how can I use this to to promote my business? And what is my process? In building a business, like if you're doing CBD, or I'm doing CB orders, I'm trying to find the best manufacturers. So when I'm looking for manufacturers, this is what I do. Boom, boom, boom. You're building rapport with people. They know you actually go through the process. You going on YouTube, you making content of the benefits. Hey, so people have been talking a lot about CBD gummies. Here are 5 things you need to know about CBD gummies. What are tension statements? Tension statements are the things, the fears, the desires, the things that people have that either make them reluctant or their goals. Mm-hmm. Many people have been many people just want relief from the constant pain in their bodies. They're tired of constantly going to the doctor. So now I'm saying all these tension statements resonate with the person watching my video, wow. Right? So now I told them I'm going to give them 5 things. I resonated with the tension statements. Now I'm going to deliver on the promise and give them the 5 things they need to know about gummies. Will they buy my gummies after that video? Who knows? But where did they learn 5 things from about gummies? Yeah. They learned it from you. If who's the authority at that moment in their mind about CBD gummies? You are the authority when it comes to CBD gummies. So like understanding how people process information is really important when it comes to marketing. And yeah, so I hope that helped. I hope that answers the question.
It really does, because it's crazy. I personally have never posted anything about CBD. And when you said that you are content, I was like, no, I'm not. But then I thought about it. I actually use CBD lotion every day. Every day when I wash my face at night and in the morning, I'm using a CBD scrub every day. So it's like those things just completely went over my head. But when you said it, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, just for people to know that I actually use the CBD lotion on my hands because I have a problem with arthritis sometimes. So I use the CBD lotion.
That's the whole post.
Every day.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like you got to realize what you just said. Like it's really what you said. Like that's the YouTube video. The YouTube video is literally, hey, you guys, like this is the video. Let's say you have not sold a single bottle of CBD lotion. There's a few things you got to get across to people. You need proof, validating who you are. You need to make a promise. You got to deliver on that promise. That's when you're making content. I cannot tell people of who's had success buying my lotion. What can I do to build credibility? I've tried over 50 CBD lotions, and here are the top 5 CBD lotions out there. Oh, she tried 50? Okay, let me watch this video because she know you've immediately built credibility.
Yeah.
So now this is literally my video script. I've tried 50 CBD lotions. Here are the top 5. Before I list the top 5, so many people have arthritis in their hands, in their joints, in their feet, and it really plagues them. And they don't realize CBD can really help them alleviate this pain, inflammation in their bodies. Now they, oh man, I'm dealing with all that. Yeah, this CBD. I need to know the 5 now. Who are the 5? Now when I'm listing the 5, I want people to buy mine, right? So when I list the 5, I'm going to say, well, which ones is the highest ones? Which ones had the least amount of success? And then ultimately, I'm going to put mine number 1 or the last one. The number 1 you should buy is this one. I like it so much, I start offering it in my store. She sell it? Oh, okay. Yeah, well, you could buy this other one, but it's a little bit more expensive than this one. You could buy this one, but the effects don't last as long as this one. You could buy this one. Oh, here's 2 honorable mentions, but they're not available in Louisiana. Oh, well, it sounds like my best option is to buy a Thai CBD lotion, right? So, yeah, and it's simple. It's really just understanding how you live your life, understanding reviewing things, and then also content is recapping controversial things about CBD. I'll give you an example. Let's say, and what one of the greatest places to get content is Reddit. Reddit is an amazing platform for content. People have so many horror stories, so many great stories on Reddit. So literally all you have to do is go on Reddit and read the story and be like, yeah, so I'm confused about CBD. I use CBD and I broke out and this, and this. What's your thoughts about CBD? That's the post. Now they got 1 million people answering at the bottom. You making a video answering it and you putting it out as not people watching your video, and you literally just answering people's posts on Reddit. It's like you reviewing, and it content is not hard. Content from scratch is hard. That's what's hard. But repurposing other people's content, repurposing what you do in your everyday life, repurposing, understanding the repurposing of content is hilarious. One of my favorite people I recently found on TikTok is this African guy. It's so funny to me. So there's these super popular interviews online. Hey, mother just won $1 million but didn't give her husband any of the money. It'd be like a news, it'll be like a news channel. So he'll put that first, and then and then the next thing will be somebody interviewing him, like he was one of the people being interviewed during the thing. You're I don't know what she was doing. And she was it'll be so funny. He'll take popular interview, street interviews. Right. Would you take $10 million or $1 million and stay with your wife? And he have all these other people who really answered the question on YouTube, and then he'll insert himself in there as one of the people that was interviewed. He'll just say some funny stuff in the middle. Right. But it's repurposing content. He's not making that from scratch. He's just taking something he's seen and making it funnier. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of us don't really, when we think about, I have to market my business, or I have to put this on YouTube, or I have to put this, we all think that we have to create something to put out there. And that's kind of a looming beast for a lot of us, because it's especially me, because I don't really like being in front of the camera. I'm getting comfortable now with being in front of the camera and with people listening to me, and because I'm okay, I'm not an eloquent speaker. I have this thick New Orleans accent. I'm not.
That's your selling point. You the people go, oh yeah, you know how people like New Orleans accent.
I know, but to me, it was just people may listen to me and be like, oh, I can't take her serious. But what? I am now getting comfortable with who I am and what I have to offer. And this is, when you say marketing, it's not scary to me anymore. It's more of, now I know I have to do it. And now it's what are those little ideas that I can pick up, and what can I actually do? What's within my capability of doing? And then once I get past my capability, am I in a position to hire someone to do that? So,
well, no one's going to market your business better than you. And to be honest with you, there's this idea, and I'll tell you, I'll go back into what you were saying before. But I always like to tell people about the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower, people traditionally spend about $250 when they visit the Eiffel Tower, right? But to go up and down the Eiffel Tower is like $20, like 20, $25. So you ask yourself, why are people spending $250 when they go to the Eiffel Tower? Where they're buying trinkets, they're buying souvenirs, they're sleeping at hotels, they're doing all these things, right? You are the Eiffel Tower, right? And so if you understand you're the Eiffel Tower, you are the brand. Building personal brand is super important. Whatever products you sell is just a bystander of your personal brand. The Rock started wrestling in 1996. In marketing, in business, we call The Rock a nation state because he has over 500 million followers on Instagram, right? Wow. So how did he get that amount of followers? He was a wrestler. Then he started doing movies. Then he started doing these other things. And then in 2019, when the pandemic hit, everything shut down. All of a sudden, he started selling products. He started selling Zoa, an energy drink. He started selling Terramana tequila, right? Mm-hmm. Watch this. What's 1% of 500 million? 5 million. Oh, Lord. If 1% of the people who follow him buy Terramana tequila, he's a billionaire. If 0.1% buys, that's 50,000 people. He's still a billion. It doesn't matter because it's a consumable. You buy over and over again. Mm-hmm. But he is the Eiffel Tower. It doesn't matter what he sells. It's him. He's the brand. He can sell you anything because he's built up enough rapport with people. What is brand? Brand is association. I see this. I see this. Eventually, I'm putting them together. He built his brand off the WWE. So you got to understand how to brand, what's branding, what's marketing. Like if I have a CBD store, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to wear a hat with my CBD store name on it. Now, every time somebody see me and I'm doing a video online and they see the name of the CBD store, and guess what? I told them, I don't even have to promote my CBD store in the video. I'm literally telling them about CBD, but every time they're getting quality information from you, they're seeing this big billboard on my head about my. They're like, what is that? And then they're going to look it up and they're going to find, oh, that's a CBD store. Let me buy something from that store. Brand is association. Okay. That is what branding is. So you got to understand that. Now, to get back to what you were saying about the content, myths, tips and tricks, inspiration, transformational stories. Those are there's like 8 of them, but those are the biggest areas where you should make content. So you should have like 5 pillars of content. So like like if you break down CBD into 5 things. So let's say we break it down into 5 CBD products: lotion, CBD oils, CBD, what's other CBD products?
Oh, shampoo. Shampoo, is
what else?
Water.
So let's watch this. I'm gonna go water. I'm gonna put water down. I'm gonna put lotion. We talked about that. What else we have?
The oils, shampoo,
food. I'm just going to stay with those 4, right? So if that's 4, I'm going to tell people myths about CBD water. I'm going to give people 5 tips and tricks of using CBD water. I'm going to tell them an inspirational story about CBD water. I'm going to tell them a transformational story about somebody who used CBD water and that's 4 pieces of content, right? I'm going to do the same thing with lotion. I'm going to tell people myths about CBD lotion. I'm going to tell them 5 tips and tricks of using CBD lotion. I'm going to tell them inspiration. Like, that's 16 pieces of content just off of having a foundational understanding and understanding what you're putting it behind. So, and then using frequently asked questions. It's really not hard. It's really, if you have a systematic way of understanding how to create content and how to grab content is easy. Like content, but it's the thing that builds up those 7 hours, 11 interactions in 4 different locations. Girl, I seen her post on YouTube, and then I've seen her on Instagram. Then I seen her on TikTok. Then I seen her on the street handing out flyers of the CBD oil. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've seen you in 4 different locations. They interacted with your content, and you have to make controversial content. You have to take a strong stance on something. We are so afraid of alienating people that we never find our people. You never know who your people are because you don't really tell them what you believe. Like being melancholy, being even means nothing. You're more likely to hit your target as a sniper than to hit your target, like with a regular, because you're pinned, like I watch a video, I say, I hate this video. I would never post on social media, I hate this video. No, you probably should post that you hate this video because some people are going to disagree with you. Guess what? Those are not your people. The people who agree with you are your people. And they have to know your opinion first in order to figure out that, this is who I resonate with. There's 8 billion people in the world. You telling me 20 million of them don't agree with Ty? That's impossible. But they don't know where Ty stand with things. So because she hasn't told them. So why am I going to support Ty? I don't know what Ty believes in. I have no clue.
Okay. I get it. Okay, one more question.
Okay.
What would you say to the person that because you said brand is association, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say to a person that, like we said, we have multiple different things going on? So if we're going to use me as example, so I'm a tax accountant. I also have this podcast. I have a CBD store that I'm going to reopen because I closed it down. CBD store and a restaurant that I'm going to reopen. How would you advise someone who have their hand in different things? How do they get that brand equal association thing? How do we get that if it's like, I guess the mind frame would be, how is it that if somebody see Ty, they're going to see CBD store? Is it that you have to resonate with your people in that industry? Or is it that as a whole, you can say, hey, that's Ty. She have multiple different businesses. How does that work with one person?
Let's say
doing
you say food,
things?
like food is your restaurant. You have, what else you have? You're a tax accountant?
Yeah, I'm a tax accountant. I have the podcast, the CBD store, which was online. And it's sad that I never made a post. But anyway, yeah, tax accountant. So I have a tax and bookkeeping firm called Emerald Services. I have this podcast. I have the Candy Store, which is the CBD store, and I have 7 Social House, which is the restaurant. And I'm getting into real estate. So how would
I miss one. I had the food, the taxes, the CBD store, and then there's one other one you said.
The podcast, and I'm getting into real estate.
Okay. So for me, I have to find the synergy between all of these things, right? Okay. So what is the synergy? When we went earlier, when you talked to me about CBD, you told me food is associated with CBD, water is associated with CBD. So for me, I would start off by pushing CBD, right? So because CBD is the most universal, it's the most global business you have. Everything else is local, right? So you can sell CBD to someone in New Zealand, Australia. Yeah. The reason I say New Zealand and Australia is because those, if you're in the United States and you're trying to sell globally, those are the other two countries you should sell to because they have their lifestyles are most associated with the American lifestyle. So most of the time, that's generally where I run ads and things like that. But with that being said, I'm going to make a lot of content about CBD. Then I'm going to make some content about CBD food. How am I going to validate that? I'm going to validate that because I have a restaurant that I make food, right? So now when it comes to running a business of CBD food, CBD business or food business, people need to know about the taxes associated with running businesses, right? They need to know the back end, the operations, the financial aspects of running businesses and what that looks like. Hey, I got a CBD store, and based on, this is the things you need to set up with accounting. These are the 5 things you need to know when setting up your business in QuickBooks. Guess what? I'm going to become an affiliate of QuickBooks. I'm going to have a QuickBooks link to where when people sign up with QuickBooks, I'm going to make a percentage of the money. So now I'm an affiliate of QuickBooks, right? Back in, I'm having success with my food business in my CBD store. I'm saving up money to buy more real estate, right? Now I've associated all those things. What am I going to use to push all of this stuff? I'm going to use my podcast to push all of this stuff. And so now you have to align those things and make them all seem one. You know what I mean? So that's how I would generally approach it. Like, that's how I would look at it. Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, that was amazing. I'm glad I could be a case study.
No, but I mean, yeah, you just got to kind of make it align. Like, you got to see there's a why behind what we do. Like we all have a why. And even though these things may seem like individual things, like they might seem like there's a why, like a centered why about why you would do these things. And that why is going to be consistent. And so that is how they become connected, right? And you got to connect them with the why. So that is how I would do it. I would just go back to pushing the CBD store because that's where you're going to get the most global push. I would, if you want to know the truth, I would go on YouTube. I would take a spreadsheet and I would take that spreadsheet and I would find 10 people on YouTube who are making content about CBD. And then I will put them on the spreadsheet and I will put their link to their post. And I'm looking at how many views they have. I'm looking at the traction of their videos. And I'm trying to figure out how I can flip their videos to make them my own. Because once again, I'm not making content from scratch. If this person made a video about CBD a month ago and they got 20,000 views, now I just need to take this same video and niche it down to my target audience. Like his target audience may be Middle Eastern men but my target audience might be Black female women who, so now I need to I can say the same content, but whenever I'm trying to resonate it with an audience, I'm talking to my audience with the content,
make it more
relatable.
relatable.
The facts are the facts. He presented the facts in a way that made sense. So I don't need to figure out how to present the facts. I just need to present the facts and then talk to my target audience. Talking to my target audience is easy. He's already done 80% of the work by showing me how to present the facts, right? So I would find 10 people on YouTube that I like their content about CBD. I would find 10 people on TikTok that I like their content about CBD. I find 10 people on Instagram that I like their content about CBD. And I would make my posts, I would use them as inspiration to make my stuff. Picasso said something, take it with a grain of salt, but Picasso said, good artists imitate, great artists steal. That's what he said. That is his post. That is verbatim what he said. So you gotta understand. So don't feel I'm not the first person to say to do this. So just and that's what repurposing content is. That's all it is. It's like, oh, this is like when you see people repurpose. Like when I told you the story about the guy who's using the news post, he's just stealing the post and remaking them into his own. Like people. They're taking things that's trending and make it they want you to do that. Like, think about it. When you on Instagram and they have a duo or they have a remix or use this as a template, they want you to take someone else's stuff that's trending and make it your own. They're asking you to do that. So, yeah.
Okay. This was very insightful. Thank you.
No, I enjoyed myself. I'm glad you had me on the podcast. It was wonderful. I got to meet somebody from the city. This is the first podcast I've done. I've done podcasts with people in India, podcasts with people in France. This is my first time talking to somebody that's in the same city as I'm in, or around the same city. So yeah.
Okay, well, let's tell the people where we can get in contact with you and connect with you.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at Jamal the Maven, TikTok, Jamal the Maven. You can also join my community. It's a free community on school.com. It's called the Funnel Factory. And at the Funnel Factory, I give people free funnels, free websites, free funnels, free lead magnets to help you attract more customers to your products and services. I also give tips and information in the community. And it's a community of entrepreneurs who are like-minded who are trying to grow and scale their businesses. I also have programs within there to teach you how to get customers. I have a program called the 100 Customer Blueprint, where we try to guarantee you to get 100 customers in 90 days by following the blueprint that we lay out. So yeah, I would definitely join my school community for sure, called the Funnel Factory. And you can follow me on social, Jamal the Maven.
Awesome. Whew. This has been a lot, but it's been great. Like you have definitely opened my eyes to a lot of things, because I might be good at getting into business, and I know the structure of business, and I know the ins and outs. But when it comes to marketing the business and getting out there and even growing the business with marketing, it has been a struggle for me. It has really been a struggle. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. And I would just tell you, don't be afraid to alienate people. Don't be afraid for people not to like you. No. No. First of all, you're from New Orleans, so I know you ain't real. But I mean that from the standpoint of like, right, everybody's not gonna like your content, and you're not gonna be great at content when you first start. How do you get good at something? Either it's gonna be time, or you're gonna have to put out so much that eventually you get good by just putting it out there. And the way that you're going to get there fastest is by doing it in volume, by purely doing it in volume. I use Riverside for all my content, Instagram, YouTube, so you have all the tools. I think it's going to work out. So yeah, thanks so much for having me on here. I'm super excited to be here, and I'm super excited to have done this interview.
Well, I thank you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today on the Who God Says podcast with your host and Kingdom Ambassador, Ty-Shaun-Dra. Go to whogodsays.com to join the mailing list for episode premieres, upcoming guests, and more. Send in your questions to be a part of the show at whogodsays@gmail.com. And don't forget, join the Kingdom Fanatic community. Until next time, be blessed and also be a blessing.